Welcome back to GBC World News, broadcast in Houston, Texas. I'm Sasha Swenenwein. Over to news in the United States. Michael Jackson fans marked the second anniversary of the death of the star dubbed the King of Pop.
When I listen to Michael's music, it makes me happy because Michael will be with me, with us forever. He's with us still.
Flooding along the Missouri River threatened areas from Montana to Missouri as high water broke through levees built to stop its spread.
The relentless floodwaters from the Missouri River have so far defied efforts to halt their spread. Levees built to contain the high water at Atchison and Holt counties are among the latest to fail. Heavy rains and melting snow along the Missouri River Valley have left vast areas of land underwater. The river stretches across several U.S. states from Montana through the Dakotas, Nebraska and into Iowa. On Sunday, officials of the Federal Nuclear Regulatory Commission were due to arrive in Nebraska to monitor anti-flood preparations at 2 nuclear power stations. One of the plants was already closed for refueling. Staff at the other are poised to take the station offline as a protective measure if water levels reach 902 feet above sea level.
The U.S. economy grew faster than first thought in the first quarter. Let's take a look.
The U.S. economy grew faster in the first quarter than was originally thought, but it's still anemic. The Commerce Department revised growth modestly higher to 1.9% to account for a slightly faster pace of business restocking. A bit of brighter news from a gauge of business spending. New orders for durable goods rose in May, easing fears of a sharp slowdown in factory activity. This just 2 days after the Federal Reserve cut its forecast for growth for the second half of the year. Google is under investigation for possible antitrust violations. At least 3 state attorneys general are looking into whether the company is using its dominance in search advertising to shut out the competition. And in Las Vegas, it's a different kind of summer camp. It's the first ever Kitty Hackers Conference. DEF CON Kids is inviting children as young as 8 to learn it's cool to be a hacker, provided they don't cheat, steal, or commit other crimes. So long, Spy Kids, and hello, crime fighters.
You're watching GBC World News. Up next, entertainment news. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to GBC World News, broadcast in Houston, Texas. I'm Sasha Swenenwein. Now for what's happening in your entertainment news. Crown Prince Albert is scheduled to wed former South African Olympic swimmer Charlene Woodstock on July 1st. Here's the story.
Move over, Will and Kate. There's a new royal wedding in town. The tiny Principality of Monaco is feverishly preparing for the marriage of Crown Prince Albert to former South African Olympic swimmer Charlene Woodstock. Red and white striped poles with flags reading the prince's marriage are being erected throughout the streets, and purple flowers are being planted in public gardens. Meanwhile, tourists have begun snatching up royal wedding souvenirs and memorabilia in local shops.
Lovely memento of a lovely wedding, yes, definitely. And especially the glasses and the cups with the gold on them.
And production of the royal wedding white macaroons are in full swing by luxury French cakes brand La Durée. Pastry chef Vincent Lumond.
The prince loves red berries, that light, acidic touch. So I went with the raspberry jam. Plus, July is the season for that.
The couple is due to hold a civil ceremony on July 1st, followed by a religious marriage on July 2nd, in what is expected to be a star-studded event.
A thirst for wine from Chinese consumers is helping boost French wine exports. Let's take a look.
At a wine fair in the south of France, a toast from Chinese consumers. For French wine growers, financial turmoil in Western markets has taken a toll on trade. But now they've been given a boost from growing demand in emerging economies like China.
They started getting interested in imported products a few years ago, thanks to their entry into the World Trade Organization. So we're benefiting from a boom here in Bordeaux, because Chinese prefer to go for French wines, like the wines from Bordeaux.
But in future years, French exporters may have to battle it out with Chinese producers. Wine produced there is growing in popularity, and one of Bordeaux's top names has even opened a vineyard in China to cash in on the growing demand. Bruno Pomar was a sommelier in France, but now he helps run a vineyard in the Chinese city of Wuhai.
We've got a market in China, so we sell all our wine there. That's what we want, because the price of wine is very high in China. We were a little reticent to export, but we're doing it to boost our image. We're very happy for our wines to be served on pretty tables or put in pretty wine cellars in France or the rest of the world, but that's not our focus. We prefer selling our wine in China.
But for producers sniffing for profits, Chinese demand could turn out to be a very liquid asset.
You're watching GBC World News. We'll be right back after this with more World News.